Let's call to order a special board meeting for the jail district that may include possible executive session. Today is Monday, August 18th. We are meeting in the Board of Supervisors conference room on Melody Lane. Order or deletion of any item on this agenda is subject to modification at the meeting. Any item listed is open for discussion of possible action. Please note that some attachments may be updated after the agenda is published, meaning presentation materials displayed at the board meeting may differ slightly than attached versions to the agenda online. Members of the board, the jail district board of directors will attend either in person or by remote conferencing. Members of the public may also attend via Microsoft Teams or the mobile app. Pursuant to ARS 38431.03b, minutes and discussion in executive session shall be kept confidential. We'll begin with a roll call. District 1.
Crosby is here.
District 2.
Gomez is here.
And District 3. Antonori is here. All supervisors and board members are present and in person. So I will go to, let's first go to Ms. Gilman.
Sure.
Do we need an executive session? Or actually, I don't know if Dylan is going to chime in. Do we need an executive session to discuss the publicity pamphlet? It's going to get published.
Yeah, it will be published. There were just a few legal questions that I'll leave it up to you if you insist that we should discuss. I might prefer an executive session just to be safe, but it's not necessary.
Yeah, could you identify those when we get to them?
Yeah, sure.
And then maybe set them to the side, and then we could go there if we hit, because I'd rather do this as publicly as possible.
Yeah, sure.
All right, and not do executive session. You good with that?
Yep.
All right. So let's kick it off. Do you want to?
Yes, I'll happy to begin, Mr. Chair. So staff has been working since, probably mid-May or end of June, into June, on the publicity pamphlet. We've worked with Dylan and the county attorney's office, as well as outside counsel Zach Sakas, to put together meet the statutory requirements of what a publicity pamphlet should include, which is background information, explanation of the purpose of the election, early drop box and the date, locations and hours for early voting sites, the date of the election, a true copy of the title and text of the resolution proposing the tax, a summary of the purposes for which the tax is proposed to be levied, the estimated revenue needs, including maintenance of effort requirements imposed on the county, an estimate of the annual amount of revenues to be raised from the proposed tax, and arguments for and against the proposed tax. So we put those together. We've sent it to Runback for a draft layout, and we have copies of that most recent draft for the board to consider and provide any feedback of additional information that you would like to see in the publicity pamphlet.
Now, has the sheriff's department seen this? Is this the first time they've seen it too? Or
no, the sheriff's office has been consulted as well to make sure that the information about the jail is accurate.
Okay.
So since we're not in an executive session, I get to keep this forever.
You do.
Okay.
Let me run and get my glasses and coming back on.
All right.
So I did send a copy of this to, yes, I think I did send a copy of this to the board prior to the session so that you had time to read it because it is multiple pages. Some of it, like I said, is boilerplate because it's the resolutions that you pass. We're just inserting a copy. The vote centers, those locations, we're just inserting the information. The location of early ballot drop boxes, that all came from the recorder. So towards the back of it, it's not too substantive in content for the board to review. Primarily, I want to focus the board's attention on pages 2 through 6, which includes the background information, purposes of the excise tax, estimated revenue, estimated annual amount needed, and the FAQs, the frequently asked questions.
So is this table, is that 17 years?
That is 17. And that's the table on page 5.
Did you put the accelerated one in? I guess not. Huh? I don't see it. The 10-year one we did?
No, I did not. I went with the 17.
Well, that's the legal bond requirement. But what we've agreed is to pay the principal down. And I would rather that also be in there too. That
An additional option.
Well, no, I think it needs to be very clear that because of the terms of the bond, we're required in case there's an economic downturn to ensure that the county has sufficient means of revenue to pay for the bond, which is why we have to do the 15-year bond. However, we did discuss with the bond company that he would be able to negotiate with the investors to allow us to pay additional principal to pay the bond off early. So he did a 10-year amortization schedule showing that potential 10-year payoff. So the intent of, at least I don't want to speak for you guys, but I believe the intent is to pay this thing off as quickly as humanly possible, especially if revenue starts to come in and sales tax revenue goes up, is to pay down that bond so that we can free that half-cent sales tax up for other stuff if we want to do like an RTA or there's an emergency or something. We need that half-cent sales tax to pay for that. So that I want to convey that message. Right?
Zach from our outside bond counsel, he's on the line. And Zach, if you have comments about that additional table.
Yeah, if possible, can we reserve that?
You the tissue box on?
Are y'all able to hear me, Dylan?
Yes.
Okay, great. Chairman, board, if possible, can we reserve that discussion for if we break into executive session just to get clear direct?
Right.
There's a few variables and assumptions where we would want the board to provide some direction, please.
All right. Yeah, we can do
That's
that.
reasonable. Mr. Chair.
Sure, Mr. Krause.
So if we do make extra payments, those do or do not affect our expenditure limit?
They do not.
They do not because they're on the bond.
Yeah, we got some. Yeah, they do not. Yes, Ms. Gomez.
Okay, so there's confusion when you say we're going to have this excess tax and it's going to go for 20 years. It sounds like a very minute thing. People don't understand we don't have the money to just pay for a jail, so we have to do it by raising funds through a bond. Can there be just a little sense that says the only way in which the Cochise County can afford to build a jail is through an excess tax that helps, have the county go into a bond so that we can pay it off. Do you understand what I'm saying? 'Cause that's what a lot of people, and myself included.
You got to be careful though, because
this is a factual document.
Yeah.
It can't be too persuasive.
Yeah,
It's not persuasive. Document.
Yeah, you got to be.
Well, why do we need? How do we raise the funds? We need a bond.
Yeah, I mean, she could have that put in there.
That's just because a lot of people say, why 20 years? And because a lot of people don't have the financial background, I think an understanding that you raise money through bonds for municipalities and counties, it's just a way to say the way we pay for it is a bond.
I simply just want to remind you that legally we are required to provide a fair and impartial pamphlet.
Right.
So how is it impartial, or how is it partial that we're just saying how we're going to do it through a bond?
As long as we just stick to the procedure and the statute, which I think we can do, then we can keep it fair and impartial.
So in other words, we can say we're going to raise the funds by a bond.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, you could make the case that due to expenditure limits, we couldn't pay for it out of the general fund.
I think you just say
Or-
the way to pay for it is a bond, through bond is enough. Just for people to understand, okay.
I mean,
It's not like they're raising our taxes and that's how they're paying. I understand there's that missing link. The people who are not financially acute, especially in my area, don't understand that it's the excess taxes to help have a stream of funds that we'll raise through bond, because that's the only way we can pay for it. We don't have to get into details, but I would just like the way we are going through to it, because there's another way is by having a bond.
So maybe before we talk about jail district bond financing, explaining why a bond is necessary
Yeah, and you don't have to go
for
along
major
to say-
capital projects.
Yes, just say it through.
Is a common practice for major capital.
Like, what is
there
a
you go.
bond? It's a typical practice.
Yeah, that would help, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I've been talking. Of course, we're going to go talk to people.
Right.
Well, actually, tomorrow night is it the first night?
Wednesday.
Wednesday night. Oh, Wednesday night. Yeah. So what people don't get is all the technical stuff that we've all gotten smart on, right? We have expenditure limits that we can't exceed. So if we were to just try to fix the old jail, we're going to hit the expenditure limit. Can't just dump $10-15 million into the budget to go fix the jail.
Right.
We'll hit the expenditure limit. And then, we could spread it out over 3-4 years, but then that creates logistical issues for the jail, and you got to move inmates over here, then move inmates over there, then move inmates over here. And that logistically, building the new jail, getting it done, cutting the ribbon, and then just having the sheriff move the bodies into it would be much logistically palatable. And we'll talk about that when we do the
Right.
thing. But and then they want to know, well, how does the bond work, right? Why do you have to do a bond? Well, again, one is it's a capital project. It's off the general fund, right? So we're under Title 48 for this. Title 48 allows us to spend money on this project under that statute that doesn't impact our spending limit, our legislature imposed spending limit. Number two is the bond. The construction of this jail is only going to take about 3 years, maybe 4. And we would not be able to pay for it from the revenue generated in a 4-year period. The construction company is going to want to get paid the day that the ribbon gets cut. And we take ownership of the jail. They're going to want a paycheck for that. And that is a balloon payment, right? They're probably going to get, correct me, Brian, I don't know if Zach is, not Zach,
Phil.
is
Phil is
Phil on the phone?
Yes.
So there's going to likely be progress payments in there, I'm assuming, to these contractors. Usually there's a progress payment or two to cover material costs up front and other things like that. But at the end, there's a balloon payment that's usually mostly the labor piece of this thing that's going to have to be paid. And that's going to be a sizable chunk that contractor is going to want to get paid, right? So that would be probably unable to be done on a single year general revenue fund to do that. And just like building your house, right? I mean, that's the analogy. That's what we tell you. How many people here, just there's probably a few will be in the room that paid cash for their house because they sold their house in California and moved here, got a little equity out of it. But most people don't. Most people, they put a down payment down and then they pay it off. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're putting a down payment down and then we're just basically going to pay it off. Yes, Mr. Krause.
I believe I see a typo on page 6.
Oh.
The copy that is in your hand has a few typos which have been corrected, and we do have a second version.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean,
It's your typo.
It is why sales tax, and the last 2 words it says paid solely by county property tax owners, when it should probably say property owners. So the word
okay.
tax should be deleted, and it appears.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just kind of the message is. And I think this may not be applicable to this pamphlet because what we're trying to say is we don't have the funds to pay for it up front in one chunk. So we have to get the money by borrowing it. We have done, and I think, a pretty good, hats off to Sharon and the crew for finding a bond company that's 4.5 to 4.75%. If that holds, hopefully it holds, because that's freaking better than a mortgage rate right now.
And Supervisor Antonori, related to that, I'm going to be speaking with Supervisor Gomez and the Greater Arizona Development Authority. They also do loan,
and they
bond
have
financing.
really good
So we're
rates. And I met her at the Rural Policy
just explore other.
Yeah, that's great. Good deal.
Yeah, and
Good
she
job.
said that they do jail districts and they even give you the money up. But there's a lot of things they can do that a regular bond company can't. So we're talking to them with Wednesday. We'll let you know.
Awesome. Good deal on that. Good opportunity there.
New resource.
But I mean, that's kind of why I think back to what Ms. Gomez is saying, there has to be some kind of knowledge imparted that we have gotten over the last 6 months that the voting public needs to be aware of why we are doing things. So why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? And that's kind of what I think you're getting at, right? So, we've gotten so down into the weeds, we understand it. It's just, if I were sitting at the house drinking a cup of coffee and I got my ballot in the mail, I may not necessarily know all the nuances that go into it, right? So,
Right. And this is an educational platform.
and again, the town halls will help a little bit too. Hopefully we can get some stuff in the paper that'll help explain why we're doing things the way we are. But it's basically just like anybody else. We can't afford to pay for it up front. It would be a significant impact on the taxpayers or county services that would be cut in order to do that, which nobody wants. So the next best thing is for a very low interest rate of 4.5-ish or less. Maybe you can get us a better deal. 4.5%, which is 2 points less than the average mortgages right now. So that would be an overall, even though we're going to pay interest on it, I don't want to pay $40 million in interest. And that's why we're not going to take the full term of the loan to pay the loan off over that time. We'd like to be down in the 20 range. Yes, Mr. Crosby.
Any industrial development authority can operate anywhere in the state.
Yes, I don't believe this is an industrial development authority per se. I'll find out more. I'll let you know.
You may
It's not an
recall,
idea.
we did have an IDA come to
Yes.
solicit the board only, a couple of years ago. I don't even remember why.
We used to have one, right? Big county?
And the county did, yeah. But
The city still probably does.
Yeah,
Douglas
Douglas
does have a student.
All right.
does. Okay.
So is it, we could talk to who's it, Zach? Is that-
Zach, yes.
Yeah, we'll talk to him in a minute, I guess, on that, what I had brought up.
One question I had for the board was regarding some of the call to public comments surrounding a signature requirement or a referendum situation. So I don't know if that's something we want to talk about in executive session.
Probably should discuss that in executive session.
That's the 60%.
Trying to
Yeah.
address those.
Yeah, we'll,
Okay.
let's see, and then the comments I saw are in here.
Mhm.
The one is for the jail district. And then the tax.
And then Runbeck will insert an actual ballot example, sample
Okay.
ballot, once it's formatted.
Why, I'll say page 9, it says, period no longer than 17 years in the middle of the page. Now therefore be it resolved. And we were just talking about 18 years on the table.
Right, I think that was just a misspoke. It's the resolution the board passed in 17 years for the
Okay.
tax.
So that means that table is going to have to be recalculated, wouldn't it? It wasn't the table that I just referred to first, wasn't that 18 years?
The table's for 17.
17.
Was it? Okay. Ardo.
Who's doing the translation to Spanish?
Runbeck,
Runbeck does that?
yeah, they'll charge us.
They use
but
Chappy GPT?
we thought that was the most efficient way to do it, was to pay Runbeck.
What's the law on that? Is it 5% or more of the population speaking the language other than English, or is it 10%? Do you remember what it is?
It's under the Voting Rights Act. I don't want to misquote, but there is a calculation that federal law requires, and DOJ publishes a coverage table every few years. And so I will make sure we take a look at the coverage table. But just as a matter of pattern in history, we always will publish these in Spanish too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting at there's something that says if your population speaks other than English, 5% or more, or 10% or more of the population, you got to accommodate that. Because we have people in the state that speak Mandarin Chinese, that speak Korean, that speak Native American languages, that speak all sorts of, but we don't accommodate them. We only accommodate.
We could if our population reached.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If we were Navajo
We would
County, we would probably have to put.
Correct. Navajo County does require like a Hopi translation.
Right, that's what I'm saying, because there's a percentage of 5%, I think it is, or 10%. I can't remember. I was just asking if you knew offhand. I mean, you don't have to.
Oh, I don't know it offhand.
All right,
no.
In New York City, our PTA bulletin had 28 different dialects being printed. That just shows you how.
It's not.
Well, they were doing that out of the kindness of their heart, because there is a federal requirement with a certain population.
Well, we had that many diverse, 28.
Well, 28 divided by 5, or multiplied by 5 is more than 100%. So there's something, somebody.
It's very possible the city went above and beyond. You're allowed to go.
Sounds like it.
Well, especially within the school itself, we had that many people speaking so many different languages.
They do have a large Chinese
The
part.
print that for us to send this pamphlet approved to print is August 28th, so that's why we wanted to have this meeting.
Yeah.
We won't be having another meeting
Got a
likely
week.
with the board.
Okay, so
We'll just be,
so read it tonight then.
Do we have to approve this in a regular meeting?
no, this is prepared by the clerk of the board. It doesn't require board approval.
Okay,
So-
okay, great.
The only two people for is the sheriff and Mr. Antonori.
That we received letters from, yes.
I'm glad I wrote one now.
Yeah. And there wasn't anyone who was for it last time. It was before
I
it.
don't remember.
Because just, I mean, you got
We
one,
did have a very short timeline.
one,
Right.
two.
There was quite a few.
And last time I mean, when I spoke at the Republican Club,
One.
several of the ladies had asked if they could set it in, and I said the deadline was Wednesday, and they're like,
So
"What?
you've
That's
got-
the first we.
Yeah.
That's the first we heard of it. We would have sent it in."
You got one,
They were not happy.
two,
It wasn't well publicized.
So it's
three,
more than 5% or more than 10,000.
Yeah, that's why.
5.
Oh, more than 10,000. That's why New York had to do it.
5 against,
We can
and
talk
2
about that.
elected officials for.
Let's get back and if you want to go into executive session to discuss some of those ongoing questions that we have, and
Which is this too?
yes,
Okay.
the entire pamphlet, yes.
Okay.
Good. You guys want to go into executive session?
That's not what we're gonna be
You
able
want
to
to do
do.
it? All right. So, throw me a motion. Can we go into executive session?
I move that we go into executive session to discuss Publicity Pamphlet.
And it's received legal advice from our 2 attorneys.
As we have received legal advice from our 2 attorneys that we should do so.
Second. All right. All those in favor of going into executive session, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. We will now go into executive session. Oh, beforehand, who online's coming in? So we got, Dylan, what's your last name? I got
Dylan Pendel. It's only Pendel.
Hendel. All right. I'm going to get the last name. I got the first name finally. Dylan Hendel. Of course, we have Commander Bradshaw from the jail. Of course, Joe and Sharon are here, County Administrator and Deputy County Administrator, Laura Loneheim, the board, and of course, all 3 supervisors. And then whoever's going to stay online.
Zach Santos.
And that's it.
Phil, we'll bring Phil over too.
Phil
Boredom.
Linedecker?
Phil
going.
Boredom.
Oh, Phil, our project manager. Okay, great. So that's who will be in the executive session. All right, we are now going into executive session. All right, we're back. It is now 2:05. There is no further board action. Any discussion before we adjourn?
No, sir.
No, sir. All right, we're adjourned.